In this story, there's a large sound, like the earth shaking, like a bit like an earthquake. So when we get to that part, I want you to all stand up and stomp up and down and make as much noise as like an earthquake would make. Okay? Story 18. A Glad Morning. Listen. The birds are singing good morning to the sun. It's early, the first day of the week. Listen. There are footsteps on the path to the garden graveyard. Listen. The women are crying as they walk along. Their friend Jesus is dead. Their hearts are broken, and they have come to say goodbye. But listen. There are soldiers guarding Jesus' tomb, Roman soldiers. And when they hear the women, they leap, grunting to their feet, and rattle their short, sharp swords. Now listen. For next comes a sound that none of them can ignore. It's the sound of the earth shaking. A cracking and a groaning and a roaring sound. And that's when the angel appears. He is as bright as lightning, with robes as white as snow. And when he rolls the stone away from Jesus' tomb, the soldiers tremble and then faint with fear. The women are trembling too. But listen, the angel has something to say. Do not be afraid, he whispers, and his voice is like snow too, falling soft and gentle. I know that you have come to see Jesus, but he is not here. Look, the tomb is empty. For just as he promised, he has come back from the dead. Listen. The women are crying again, but these are tears of joy, not sorrow. They turn to leave, and that's when the impossible happens. And their cries of happiness and surprise drown out any other sound. For there is Jesus, standing right in front of them. And listen, he greets them. Peace be with you, he says. And listen, he asks them to do a very important job. Go back to my other friends, he says. Tell them that I am alive. Tell them that I want to see them. So they run off and listen. The women are laughing. The angel is laughing too. And this time, only the devil weeps. For Jesus is alive again. Listen. So I want you all to stand up for this story. And at the talking and walking phrases, can you walk on the spot and pretend to have a conversation with the person standing next to you? You can mime taking the bread. And last of all, there's a big jump for joy at the end. Okay, so we begin. Story 19. Walking, talking and shocking. Talking and walking, walking and talking. The two men travelled from Jerusalem to Emmaus. It was a 3-hour journey, and because the two men were followers of Jesus, there was plenty to talk about, like the rumour that some of his friends had seen him alive again. So, talking and walking and walking and talking, they made their way. And then a stranger joined them. I hear you talking. I see you walking, said the stranger. You sound excited. What's it all about? It's about Jesus, said one of the two men. And then talking and walking and walking and talking, he explained. Jesus was a prophet sent from God. He did amazing things. Many of us thought that he was the Messiah, the special one God promised to send to save us from our enemies. But the religious leaders sentenced him to death. The Romans killed him on a cross, and all our hopes died with him. That was 3 days ago. But this morning, some of the women who knew him went to visit his tomb, and his body wasn't there. Better still, an angel told them that Jesus wasn't dead anymore, and that he was alive again. The stranger listened carefully, and so talking and walking and walking and talking, he told the 2 men what he thought. "You sound surprised," he said. "Didn't the prophets say that the Messiah would have to suffer before he claimed his victory over evil? If this Jesus died and rose again, then surely that's exactly what happened to him. I think it shows that he is indeed the special one you've been waiting for." Then talking and walking and walking and talking, they came to Emmaus. "It's late," said the 2 men to the stranger. "Why don't you stop the night with us?" And so talking and walking and walking and talking, they washed up and prepared a simple meal. "Do you mind if I give thanks for the food?" asked the stranger. "Of course not," said the 2 men. So, taking and breaking the bread, he bowed his head and prayed. And that's when the 2 men knew. The stranger, the man on the road, the one they'd been talking and walking with all afternoon, wasn't a stranger at all. It was Jesus, alive again. But before they could say a thing, Jesus disappeared. He simply wasn't there anymore, and they were left alone to wonder. "We need to tell someone about this," they cried. So they hurried back to Jerusalem, not talking, not walking, but running and jumping for